This is First and 15th. We talk about inspiration, motivation, life-changing moments, and conquering fears. Twice a month, we have amazing guests popping through. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hello, everyone. Welcome to First and 15th. I'm your host, Karal Bush, and we are joined today by the lovely, awesome, amazing Bukola Somide. So I gave you all of those adjectives because I think that about you. So I'm going to go ahead and just have you tell us about who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump right in, Bukola.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me to your podcast, your platform. Thanks for sharing it with me, dear. Yes, like she said, I am Bukola Somide, founder CEO of Innovant Technologies and creator of the award-winning brand product, Somi the Computer Scientist interactive doll. So, our company, what we do, we create fun computer science educational solutions that help to inspire, engage, and boost the confidence of underrepresented children. So how I know Karal, clearly we were, back in college, we were college, is that what you said? Classmates in college, University of Maryland, College Park, and I majored in computer science, right? So I was like the only one in our crew. Computer science, always programming all night long, but
yes.
Yeah.
I remember that that statement right there, but you were always programming. Look, y'all, she was really into her computer science, and we couldn't tell her nothing. She had to go code, go study. She was all about computer science, and you still are. I love that, Bukola.
Do you know I actually almost quit computer science in junior year? Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
Girl, I was so stressed out. I was burned out. And folks, we're switching majors,
Right.
Back then it wasn't like a big deal. It's like, oh, this person switched to this, switch to that. So I said, okay, I can do that too. I just didn't know what to switch to.
Okay.
So yeah, I had gone, I don't know if you know about the bridge program.
Yes,
MCP,
I remember
the bridge
that.
program. Supports minorities that are in the sciences to help retain them in the field. So I had gone to one of my guidance counselors and told them about it, that I wanted to switch, and they're like, okay, what do you want to switch to?
Right.
And I'm like, math, because I like math, but I'm not good
okay.
at
Okay. So you have your
yeah.
interest, and then you don't have the actual, I like it, but I'm not going to do well at it. Okay.
Yes. So, so they're like, no, we're not going to let you switch to math. Yeah, so my advisor encouraged me. Shout out to, I believe, Dr. Bryant and my dad. I spoke to my dad too about it. And why I'm telling this story is important, right? Because I'm here today because in hindsight, having your support system, I didn't see them like that back then. Right. But having that support system does help you, to stay on the right track. They helped, I wanted to quit because I was just burnt out, but I wasn't seeing the future past that, So my dad encouraged me. I was like, for your master's, you can do whatever you want, just stick it through. And I'm glad I did, because, industry is different. Industry is different than College Park. You see, College Park is not predominant. It's not HBCU, right?
Yeah.
But we had enough representation.
Yes, you're right. There were a lot of Black and brown folks, but you're right, and it was not in HBCU, but there were hundreds of thousands of African, Black students, Caribbean. There were so many people who looked like us that like one who was coming there to visit, I would not know that it was not HBCU. There were so many Black students.
And I'm saying this for a reason, because even in the computer science department, even though there weren't a lot of Black folks there, I never felt out of place. I was in a bridge program. We're all minorities. We're all in different engineering, folks are engineering this, that, I never felt out of place. It's when I went into industry, corporate America, that for 17 years, past 17 years plus, I was the only Black woman on the software development team in all the companies I worked at, right? That's my story. But it wasn't
How
like
did it
that
make
on
you feel about
campus.
it?
Huh?
Yeah. So that, how did you feel, going from a college environment that had plenty of folks who looked like you and I to the actual work world when there was hardly anyone who looked like you? I mean, how did it even make you feel?
I feel like, to be quite honest, I feel like I have this innate confidence that the Lord has given me. Not that I was confident in everything, because there's other things that I had insecurities in, but I had this innate confidence to be able to stand up for myself in a room. When I'm quiet in a room, folks sometimes take me for granted and think, oh, they can just call me out and I'll shy away. But then I speak up and loud, and they're like they back off, you know. So it's those kind of, I noticed some microaggressions, but also I'm a very passionate individual. I'm passionate when I really want to get something done, I put my all into it. I guess I can get kind of intense about it. And look, I'm like trying to get it done. But what I see, what I've learned, there are a couple of things I've learned here. One, these kind of leadership traits, right, is seen as something in a positive light when it's a male that exudes it, right? But when it's a female, and especially a Black woman, then she's labeled as bossy and abrasive,
aggressive, angry, all
aggressive.
those words.
I'm just, you're calling it aggressive. I'm passionate. I'm passionate
Yeah,
about
I
what
was
I
gonna say
think.
the same
I'm
thing because
assertive. I'm assertive in the way I speak because I'm confident, but they see it as something else, right? So that's something that I think I honestly was oblivious to, but I did go through that and I did observe that. But I'm actually grateful that maybe in a way being oblivious to that kind of helped, I guess maybe in a sense, helped me to have an innocence in the whole regard and still be me. But I recognize it, right? So but one thing I knew throughout my career, my work spoke up more for me than I could ever speak for myself. I can't walk into the room and just automatically garner respect just by what they see, but an Asian man could walk in the room and they would just, oh yeah, he got it, that kind of thing. So why I'm sharing this is, when I got to a point in my life, so I'm trying to fast forward here, I got to a point in my life when I was feeling quite unfulfilled, right? And I wanted to give back to the community in a way that truly resonated with me and would bring me that fulfillment that I was seeking. And this is how I decided to do it. I found out that through computer science education, awareness, bringing it to the community and helping to inspire younger generation to not just go into this field, but thrive in this field, to be innovators. Like my goal is to help cultivate innovators, right, in our communities, to help uplift our communities. I'm all about, creating things, being innovative, just that have that creative brain. I have the technical brain and the creative brain. It's almost 50-50. Some people are way more technical than creative, and some are way more creative than technical, but I think mine is almost a balance.
You got a good balance. You have a good balance
and it's really lended itself in what I'm doing right now. So that's why I'm on this journey. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I thank God for, I say this is ministry to me. Ministry in the marketplace. This is how I'm giving back to the community. This is how the Lord is using me to inspire people, to awaken them to their own purpose in life, because I'm very purpose driven now. Living a fruitful life, right? What legacy do you want to leave behind? That's the path I'm on. I'm like leaving behind legacies, gems, to help inspire other children. So I saw I'm reading comments, but
I am
so sorry, I don't go ahead.
So okay, so that that story of how you found passion and purpose, I think is definitely phenomenal, and it was definitely worth you sharing, because I did not know, number one, that you did not want to actually finish in your major, because I would have never known, because you were coding, you were up late at night doing your computer science. So I would have never known that you had this battle inside of, do I finish this major or not? So I am really, really happy that your advisor, number one, said no. And also that your dad encouraged you to finish that major and follow through. Bukola, I commend you, because I don't have that kind of background in terms of that major, but I do know from one of our guests earlier was Melanie Yost,
Yeah.
that is a hard field, to feel like you can be seen as a woman and also as a Black woman. So she's also giving some comments there too. But for those of y'all who are joining just now, it is Women in Technology Month, and I am thrilled to have our guest on, the innovator, Bukola Somide. So let's actually jump into a few questions. What actually led you to your interest in computer science?
I really say is by fate. And why I say that, because in 10th grade is when I decided to pursue computer science. But back then, I actually had no clue what computer science really was. And this was in the late 90s, right? So I'm showing my age to the people in the audience. So it was just a graduating senior from high school at the time. I just asked him, what do you major in? He said computer science. And I was like, I like science, and computers are the way of the future. I'll study computer science. Like, that was the most naive way I decided to pursue computer science, to be quite honest. And come 12th grade, my dad now asked me, okay, what do you want to be? Lawyer, accountant, all this stuff. And I told him computer science, and he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. So he's the one that actually did the research, the old-fashioned way, not a search engine. He went to the library.
Right. You had to go look it up that way back in the 90s.
The library to actually do the research to figure out, okay, what is computer science? And then he came back to me. He's like, you know what? They make money. You can pursue computer science.
Yes. You had your dad's approval because of the income.
Right. Sure I'm not a starving artist out here, but and that's really how it started. And I didn't take my first programming course until, when I joined the bridge program. It was like the summer before freshman year started. That's when I took my very first programming course, and that's when I was blown away. It was like the Matrix, the movie, the Matrix effects. Like that's why I love that movie, The Matrix, only the first one. But I love the concept of it because I got it. I was like, wow, I didn't know this digital world actually existed. Because to me, I'm like, this is a different world. And I think people can see that now with the whole metaverse thing. When you plug in the Matrix, you can see it's a different world. So, but it was challenging, right? Because I had a project I had to finish, and I was getting a lot of bugs. It was taking a long time. So it was quite frustrating. But when I finally got my program to work, that's when I got the aha moment. Like, really, that was my defining moment. That I was like, wow, I just created something from scratch that worked. I feel like a light bulb really went off in my head that I am capable of creating something from scratch that actually works. And I got this like feeling, like this gratification. I don't want to call it a high, but like this gratification. And I accomplished something. And honestly, that's really what kind of kept me in it and kept me going. I enjoyed creating and making things work until I got to the burnout phase. But yes, that's
so then,
really the backstory of how I got into it.
Okay, I would have never even thought, that this was sparked as a 10th grade student in high school. So then, what was your first project that you had to build from scratch? Then that you were just talking about, what was the actual project?
Oh, girl, I'm trying to remember. Okay, for those that are aware, okay, it's called C programming. That's the computer language, C programming. And we were building in a Unix environment, so it's all like terminal. I'm getting a little technical here. But what it is like this black and green screen that you code in. And one of my early projects, I'll say one of my early projects, I'm not sure exactly the first one, they just teach you basic things like prints to the screen, like, you can print like maybe images, or, how sometimes in text messages, people can actually create an image with like different characters, punctuation marks, create stuff. Yeah, that kind of thing. So actually printing it out to the screen, but using code, like you actually write in a code to print out this design on the screen. And it requires a bunch of different computer science concepts, which I actually touch in my products. I have it in my books. For the kiddos, the concepts of loops and, using a for loop to, to print stuff out, print statements, to print stuff to the console. like all this. So it's like an output, learning about inputs and outputs. So it was really like a basic thing, but it was really, of course, that's the foundational, right? Is to teach you the foundational concepts of these computer science things that you're going to be using over and over and over again. Yeah. So it wasn't like a super cool project where we're creating a game or something like that.
It was start though. I mean, that was a start to who you are now and what you have also created for the masses. So
hello world. That's so true. That is always the first programming project in freshman year. It's like a hello world project. Yeah, print hello world to the screen, but you have to use like punctuation marks to like print it out to the screen. And it requires all these concepts for you to actually do it. It looks very simple, but behind the scenes, when you see the code, you're like, what is this? But yeah, oh, the guy is like, this is music to my ears. Oh, they must be a programmer or something.
Yeah, and with the comment "Hello World," I thought it was like a regular comment. I didn't know it was actual programming thing, so that was way over my head. I had no idea what that meant. So, yeah, so I had no clue what that meant. So the thank you, for sharing that it's not a regular comment; it's an actual program.
Yeah, it's a programming reference.
Hello World, see. That was over my head because I am not in that world.
Oh, look, that's your sister. Sorry, I said,
yes.
Hey, girl. That's why she knows, Hey, Melanie.
Yes. Yes, she is the president and owner of Meldon Tech. And so both of y'all have that in common with the whole background in coding, computer science, technology. So y'all have a lot in common, I would say. Yeah. But I want to actually bring it to what I think about you. Okay, so number one, you are still, in my book, hands down, top 5, the most funny women that I know. You're in my top 5. You would have me.
I think you're the only one that says that.
That cannot be true because people are not telling you that you are funny. You would have my stomach hurting because I would be laughing so much. So that I know, was many, many years ago. But I want to also tell you still, the hands down top 5, you're in my funniest women.
Thank you. It means you're my peoples. That's what it means because you get it. You get me. You get my type of humor. And you laugh. Some people are offended by my humor. Let me be honest. Some people are offended because they don't get it. They don't get me. So, So thank you.
Yes, you have an amazing sense of humor. But I want to just take this to why I think that you are also so fascinating, and that is your training tool, Somi the Computer Scientist. So we kind of touched on how she was created, but so I want to just learn more about how you even got the concept to have this doll. What made you actually want to create a doll opposed to something else? Because that is really unique, I think.
Oh, I thank the Lord for ideas. But yeah, so yeah, I know I told you some of the backstory of how everything started. But so when I started, when I decided, okay, I want to go this path, right? I initially was like, I'm going to create a scholarship program to help support minority girls in college. That was the initial idea, but it quickly dawned on me that by 12th grade or freshman year, they've probably decided what major they wanted to pursue. So if I really wanted to increase this number of minority girls that are actually thriving in computer science, I needed to target the younger generation. So the middle schoolers, the elementary schoolers. So I asked myself, what kind of products and service could I create that is, of course, entertaining, because with kids, you have to capture their attention, and educational, because I'm all about the computer science education. And of course, the Somi the Computer Scientist character came to mind, right? But, I had a big vision for this. This is a brand, right? This is a brand. And there's going to be lots of products and solutions under this brand. So first, the storybook idea, this character came out, right? She's going to be a young Black girl, beautiful, because I want to send that message that you can be smart and beautiful is not mutually exclusive,
Yes.
you know. And she's curious, you know, and she has a mentor who's her mom, that she's learning these computer science concepts from. So it's like, and she has all these other hobbies that kids like. She loves cake. That's like her favorite food, you know. She loves cake. She loves party princess dresses. She wears a tiara in her birthday. So I have like birthday scenes and all this fun stuff that kids love. Just to make this character relatable to children, right? So that's to bring them in. And then there's the educational piece when she's talking with her mom, going back and forth. So when after I got the idea of the storybook and I started working on it, I thought, okay, what other products and services? It has to be entertaining and educational. Right. So I think it's probably edutaining. Honestly, it's the Lord that gave me the idea of a doll. You know, I'm like, kids, you know, young girls play with dolls. So what could be the educational piece to it? And I said, oh, she could have a voice box and that she speaks, and then she's teaching computer science concepts in a fun way. Honestly, that is how it came up. Bringing those two together, you see, it's really about being purpose driven. For those that are listening, being purpose driven, having, you know, you're doing something for the greater good that's bigger than yourself. That's why I embarked on this journey. Do something that's bigger than myself to bring me fulfillment, and, you know, do it in a positive way. So there is purpose in this, and I'm thinking about the need of the child. So thinking about the need that you're trying to solve, and how you can get it to your target audience in a way that to be appealing to them. So thinking about all these different things. So I thought about the child, like they want to have fun. So what is fun for them? They love to play with dolls. So why not? How can I now make that doll? You know, what's the computer science element to it, educational element? So that's how I think, you know, just taking ordinary things that kids love, because that would be the entertainment piece, and then brainstorming on how to introduce the computer science education piece. So that's really innovation, you know. Like Dr. Miles Monroe, I love Dr. Miles Monroe. He has lots of messages on YouTube. He's late now, but his teachings really unlocked my mind, like made me see, it really shifted my mindset. So I matured since college. I love it. You know, and so by helping me shift that mindset in me, I'm trying to help kids also shift their mindset from just being consumers of technology, but to be innovators of them as well. So that's why I'm really big on pushing, cultivating innovators in our field. So that's really innovation, taking something that's old, something that you see. And, you know, I learned this definition from Dr. Miles Monroe, is taking what you see and actually applying it in a new way. So it's actually already, everything exists already in this world, but, you know, merging them into a new way to serve a need is innovation. Hope that makes sense.
That is, that whole statement from Miles Monroe is something that I think is invaluable. You know, just to take what you see and then essentially make it different, because you're taking what you see and then making it your own. So
Thank you, Melanie.
Yes, I definitely agree. There are so many young girls who need this doll in their life. And so I'm going to I should have printed my questions a little bit larger, because I can't have a squint now. Don't you wear
glasses?
I have contacts in.
They're not working.
Then with the doll, what have been some of the challenges and some of the ways that you have just shot to success with the Somi doll?
Okay, yeah. So some of the challenges, of course, capital, as far as funding, you know, initially. But when I'm very passionate about something, like there's that old statement, when there's a will, there's a way. And honestly, that's what it was. My desire was so strong for it that I found the money, you know. So I did have to, dip into my 401k to fund a lot of this, honestly. The bulk of it, I did have to do that because I was very passionate about it. I'm like, this is purpose, and this is how the Lord is leading me, and He's going to multiply me. It's going to come back to me. So funding, I think, is one challenge. And the other way I got over funding too, I did borrow, and I do this wisely, so folks shouldn't just be running up their credit cards irresponsibly. Right. But there's this thing I do where I use a Bank of America. I have a Bank of America credit card, and once in a while they offer like a 0% APR for like a good 18 months. Yeah. You know, so they do take a fee up front, so they get their monies up front a little bit. Right. But I give myself that 12, 18-month window to pay that joint back off, and I prioritize it, right? So I've done that over and over again throughout my life, you know, using that credit card, you know, do what I got to do and then pay it back. Right. So those are some of the ways I overcame the funding in the beginning. The other challenges that I didn't realize will come is dealing with vendors, right?
Suppliers, okay.
It's more so, you know, because my product, the doll, is manufactured in China. So there's a language, China. So there's a language barrier, right? So communicating, like, I'm the creative, right? I know what I want, I see it. But communicating it effectively where the other folks get it, it was kind of challenging. Dealing with different personalities is like the Lord really did like help me grow on how to interact with other people in a more effective manner. Like even for my storybook, the illustrator that I used, you know, he had a personality that was a bit kind of arrogant, and I had to stay on mission. I had to be focused on mission, even when the dude was like popping off. You know, it's like, ooh,
stay focused on getting it done.
Yeah. You can't just like cuss them out and walk away. It's like your project is not done, and you're actually talented. So I remember when I was looking for an illustrator, I looked at 5 different people. He was like the third one, and after the 5th person, the Lord told me to go back to the 3rd guy. I was like, no, I don't want to work with him. It's kind of arrogant. You know, I don't want to work with him. And the Lord is like, his gift, I'm the one that gave it to him. His talent, I gave it to him, and that his talent is what's going to prosper me. So I had to like just, you know, hang up my ego and pride, humble myself, and try to work with someone that's difficult. You see, this happens even in corporate America. You may have a colleague that's difficult, a manager that's difficult, you know, people above you or even below you that might have a difficult personality. But once you cultivate what effective communication is, you would know how to bring out the best in everyone and any personality. You really would.
You are so right. Know that that kind of skill is used regardless of what your actual field is. Yes, you were spot on that.
Yeah, so that was, you know, so folks might not realize that would be a challenge for me, but it was. You know, it took a long time to get this doll done. One, I did switch manufacturers during the pandemic. And I was kind of exhausted, and I didn't want to do it. I was really reaching a burnout, to be honest. I went through another burnout because I was going hard in my business, and for like a good 3 years, and I was burning myself out. And then I was in the middle of this whole doll production, so I really had to push myself. Like, dealing with that language barrier, changing the way I communicated to make sure that it's effective, thinking like the other person, okay, how are they receiving this? You know, not using too many big words, so to speak, big words. You know, there's certain words in my dictionary, in my head, that is normal to me, but it's not normal to other people. So when I use it, it's quite normal. But
I know what you mean.
I'd be like, huh?
We're like, can you break that down, please? Can you say a little bit simpler?
Like,
I get what you mean. I do.
Honestly, is knowing how to effectively communicate with different people on different levels. You know, someone that is, you know, just different levels of life, and knowing how to switch, right? But, we can call it code switching in a different form. Code switching is quite necessary. You know, I know people say show up as your authentic self everywhere you go. Code switching is also your authentic self. You're not pretending to be somebody else. You're choosing to be effective, more effective with your communication to your target audience. You can't just be to communicate the same way like you would your friend and your family and, you know, business, you know, all that kind of stuff. So code switching is absolutely necessary to effectively communicate. Of course, I'm running by faith when I create all the stuff that I'm creating. And how I get that fulfillment is when I get feedback, from the marketplace or even from teachers in the classroom. So for example, when a grandma is like, oh, my child looked at the character or looked at the doll and said, she's smart and beautiful just like me. I'm like, yes. I'm like, this is impact, so seeing the impact, there's this other mother. This is the most profound one. She got my doll over the Christmas break, this last Christmas. And her 9-year-old daughter, once she got the doll and interacted with it, they were just blown away. And she was like, her daughter is now talking about, reprogramming the voice box to say whatever she wanted. And she's talking about engineering other things around the house. Like now she's just thinking like inspired, to create all this stuff. And her mom was like, I think you may have just created another Black engineer. And I'm like,
that is powerful.
This is seeds, my products are helping to sow these positive seeds. So hopefully have this young girl or child just be inspired to their own greatness when that time does come. But it's sowing that positive, it's a good seed, right? So that brings me fulfillment. So that's I'm in awe, to be quite honest. Like when I look back at my products sometimes, because we can be quite critical, especially us that are creatives. We see every little flaw, and good thing I'm also a project manager. I have project management skills, so I know and say, okay, no, stop. Like, don't try to chase perfection, because you never release, you never go live. Just what is actually the critical things? Okay, those need to be done. What are the nice to have? So what can you do? What can't you do right now? Let it go, So knowing how to compartmentalize those things, because your customers don't really care about certain things. You're looking at, get the shades just right. When I look back at what I've created, or what the Lord has created through me, sometimes I'm in awe too. I'm like, oh my God, I did this. I read my storybook and I was like, man, it's actually good. Like, it's almost like this surprise, like, wow, so really, I didn't expect this to happen. Like, to get to this point where things are going viral. I was just on mission. I was just on purpose doing God's work, and all this happened. So looking back, I'm just like, wow. So I am in awe of everything that's happened. But there's still more to be done. And I still have more in me to pour out, more solutions, entertaining solutions I want to create. Like, I want to turn my storybook into an animated cartoon series, because kids love watching cartoons, especially on YouTube.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yes, I need to meet them where they are. So they love watching cartoons. I want to go there, but making an educational cartoon. So doing it in a way that is not overly technical, but would appeal to them. And I also want to create a game-based learning application. Right now they utilize some of those like math game-based learning apps in school. My daughter uses some of those. I want to do that too. Create something that's fun, a fun, charming game that they can play. And then there'll be those computer science educational pieces that will be injected in there. So those are the two major things I really want to do. That I'm trusting God that He'll provide funds to do it.
It's going to happen. I don't have that background in tech, but I do have 3 daughters. I just know firsthand that this creation of this doll is something that's just the beginning. And I know that you can make this happen with faith, with trust, with a village, because you have so much to offer.
Thank you.
So you actually covered our next question, of like where you see yourself, in the next 2 to 3 years. So cartoon coming down the pike. We have on the game as well. What advice do you have to that person who wants to create something that started from a passion?
Yeah. Again, my look at your sister. You saw that?
I actually agree. I agree with her, because my sister, she's very computer science, zero tech, and so she actually explained to me last week about, like, I think it was something that I didn't even understand. I was like, how would I have known? And I'm an adult, but I thought I knew it. I was going to copy and paste something to like Dropbox, then to the CapCut, then to YouTube. And she was looking at me saying, what are you doing? I said, that's how my brain works. You gotta got to copy and like drag and drop here, drag and drop there, and then drag and drop somewhere else. She was like, no, that's too many steps. People need to know. So yes, firsthand. That was last week.
Last week. No, her comment actually is on point because I've actually had a parent tell me that, you know, they bought the doll for their daughter. But even when they listened to it and, you know, read my books, he was like, I learned something. You know, so actually adults can learn something because not everybody does computer science. You know, so there are things that, you know, there's knowledge gaps, right? So yes, but I want to get back to your question. Okay, somebody that's passionate about creating something in computer science, right? Yeah. What advice I'll have for them? Yeah. Make sure that there's a purpose. Like there's a need you're trying to solve. More than just, I'm just doing this for the fun of it, right? I mean, you can do that, but you can also create projects that don't go anywhere, right? It was just for the fun of it, it was just for you. But if you want to create something that's innovative, that is helping to change the world, really, helping to inspire people, because when you create something to help somebody else, you know, it helps you in return. So like giving back to the community and using your craft. So just one, having that purpose, you know, what's the need you're really trying to solve? Let it be something real, something tangible that can help. And that will guide you, because when it's like your compass, that will be your inner compass. So sometimes when you lose yourself, you have to come back to your, like they say, your why. Why are you doing this again? You always have to remind yourself of your why. Come back. So it's like your internal compass that will lead you. And then you will become more innovative in your solutions. Just like I told my story, I had to think about the kids. What do they find entertaining? Okay, take that piece. Now, how do I add, you know, this is the purpose part. How do I add a computer science education? And just brainstorm and come up with ideas. So it helps you guide you. So that's what I would say, be purpose driven. The other thing, don't be afraid to go into a field or try something that you've never done before. What do I mean by that? For example, creating dolls. I mean, I'm not like a doll enthusiast. I've never worked with a doll manufacturing company. What I'm saying is I've never had a background in manufacturing dolls. But when I came up with that idea that kids play with dolls, and, you know, so I can create a doll and do this, I didn't tell myself that, well, you've never created a doll before. You don't know how to create a doll. So why do you think you can do it? Don't do this. Only do what you know. You know, you would stop yourself. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So my advice is, first of all, come up with that solution that would solve that need. Don't think, oh, I can't do this, because when the Lord gives us ideas, it's really for us to be a steward of it. It doesn't mean you're the one that's going to create everything. I'm not the one pouring the mold, creating a doll. That's not my expertise in creating a doll. But you do have your own talents that you are going to utilize during this process. And my talent is designing, like the creative side. Like I designed the character, right? So I was able to design exactly what I wanted. My project management skill came in handy. I have the ability to see details and also big picture. Sometimes some people only see details and get lost in details. And sometimes some people only see big picture but can't see the details of how to get to the big picture. I believe I have both. I can narrow it down to the details. I can also see the big picture. So it's like I come in and come out. And I see that as a gifting. Because that's what helped me to be able to manage this project effectively, to be able to give them proper feedback. Like I'll be telling them, like, aren't you the doll creating people? Why is the eyes crazy? The eyes of this doll gave me the biggest problem. The biggest problem. Like it took like a year just to get the eyes right.
Wow.
You know? And why is that? I'm like, I don't want this eyes coming out looking crazy, because they said the eyes is the window of the soul to the soul. I know the doll doesn't have a soul, but when you look at a doll and you want to determine if it's cute or not, the first thing you engage with is the eyes.
Yes, and you don't want her to have eyes that are creepy looking, or that are just like hollow. Yeah, because there are some dolls, I'm like, this doll is kind of creepy and scary.
Right. It's not the mouth making it scary. It's not the lips. It's not the head. It's the eyes. Right. So the eyes was the biggest challenge in this doll to get right. Something so simple, right? And I'm like, why are these people frustrating me? You guys are doll makers. You should know how to design the eyes. I'm like, are they doing this on purpose? Like, because I'm black. like y'all created dolls before. Why is the eyes looking like this? Like, come on. other gifts that I really had to now pull out. So you see, I'm a steward of all of this, meaning those that don't know what steward is, you're just managing the whole process, right? So even though I don't know how to create dolls, you are in charge of managing the process to get it done. You are in charge of finding the right people with the expertise to get it done. And you can do it. There's Google, search engines. You can ask people. So part of my feedback to those that are also trying to do this is see who's doing it in the industry already. Feel free to get their consultation and be willing to pay for their consultation. So you can actually get real knowledge that can maybe shorten the time frame in which you're going to create this, and you don't have to relearn some of the mistakes other people have done. So if that's there, please do that. If it's not there, then you're the trailblazer. You just have to figure it out. You just have to trial and error, and those wounds you're going to use it to help other people. Right? So
you have me literally in tears. I was laughing so much, but I'm funny. Because you are. But I do value how much you wanted your brand and your product to not leave the actual factory until it met your standards, because this has your name on it. This represents you. So I definitely applaud you for getting everything right down to the eyes, because that's important too.
Remember I said you have to know, as a project manager, you have to know what are the critical things that is a showstopper, what are the nice to have. The eyes looking cute was critical to me, because I'm like, it's critical to having this doll having some kind of appeal to the audience for people to want to even own her. That's why it was critical to me. Getting the hair down to, like a really tiny afro curl. I'm like, it's a nice to have. I'm like, she got curls. It's not as tight, because somebody was like, do you have hair with a more afro hairstyle? I'm like, look,
no,
all you gotta
I
do is
don't.
come out with curls, you got an afro.
I'm like, the answer is no. She is beautiful, and she has beautiful eyes, beautiful hair. She can resonate with so many different young girls and moms like me too, because my sister said, Carol, you can learn too, and I'm an adult.
Yes, like getting that voice box, working those were more critical. So and with talking about the eyes again, because that did take me a long time, but it did stress me out with the eyes. I had to utilize my own talent and tell them, because I'm kind of artsy. I told you I'm kind of like creative too. I had to tell them exactly where to place the white dots. There are white dots on the eyes. It's called a light source, right? You can see a light source, and I'm getting technical, but you can see a light source reflection on my eyes right now. So there's a light source on the doll, right? They had one here and one here, so it made her look like she was cross-eyed.
They should know better than that. They should know better than that. But oh my goodness, Bukola, I have learned.
So what I'm trying to say by giving that specific example is that anybody that you are going to have your own innate gifts that the Lord already gave you that you would need to use as well, but the things you don't know, go get the people that can do it, and just manage everything to make sure that it gets done. There's a feedback I got from a grandmother. Grandmothers, shout out to all grandmothers, because they're like my number one customers, love them. So there's this grandmother that bought the doll for her grandbaby, and she had to just come back and tell me this feedback. Like, her granddaughter has been scared of dolls. Remember, we talked about, the doll looks crazy.
Weird,
She was like, her daughter actually has a phobia for dolls. But she happened to just want to buy this Shomi doll for her. And she was like, her brother says that she carries the Shomi doll wherever she goes. She was like, this is the only doll that she's not scared of. And she had to come tell me this. It's amazing to hear stories like that, because you don't realize what you're creating, the impact of it all. Like, I thought the impact was just going to be, this, inspire them to want to be, software engineer or innovators. But it's like, no, like, this is her best friend. She was scared of dolls before, but this one she's not scared of. That's something I didn't expect, and that also makes me believe that spending all that time to get that eyes right was also worth it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was that because that was a piece that was vital to what you wanted for this image of the doll, and so I definitely agree that that there were things that you can budge on and things that are no. This is I'm standing firm. We got to get the eyes right or the so and so right. I agree with you 100% because this is your name. This is your brand,
Mhm.
but. I must say, I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I learned so much about you and just the story of how you got through college without changing majors and how you wanted to give back by having this doll. So,
Thank
everyone, I
you.
have enjoyed talking
Thank
with the
you for having me.
award-winning. Oh, you are so welcome. You are so welcome, Bukola, because I was thinking I need to get her on as a
Hold
guest, and so I'm glad that it
on,
worked out. No, you were just fine. How can folks find you? So,
yes, thank you for
either your
asking.
website,
Yes,
how can folks find you?
yeah. So my our company handle on Instagram is Innovant_Tech. So that's INNOVANT_TECH.
Mhm.
So that's the same handle on Twitter, and on Facebook is the same handle without the underscore. So just one word. We're also on LinkedIn, Innovant Technologies, and our website is innovant-tech.com. And our e-commerce site, you can get to it. SomiDoll.com is easy way to get to it.
Mhm.
SOMIDoll.com. But yeah.
Wonderful. I have learned so much about just technology, doing projects not just for anything, but doing it with a purpose and a passion. Bukola Somide, she was our second guest for Women in Technology Month. So, so stay tuned for next month. We do have some musical guests joining us next month in June. And so feel free, of course, to check out past episodes of the show, and we'll see you real soon.